friends! Welcome to the all-Canadian Reptile Girl with me, Annalise. Today we will be learning about some really cool reptiles and amphibians with names that, if you didn't know better, you might think they were an entirely different animal. Let's explore some misleading reptile and amphibian names. Before we start, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you get notified whenever I upload new videos. All of this really helps me out as I try to grow my channel, and I truly appreciate the support. Anyway, back to misleading names. Maybe the name comes from the appearance of the animal, or similarities to another one, or it could be from what is now outdated information, or maybe it even comes from what the animal tastes like. That one piqued your interest, didn't it? There are a bunch of great examples, but I've selected a few of my favorites to share with you today. First up, let's meet the horny toad, or horny frog. There are 22 species of horny toad that live in arid and semi-arid areas in North America. The horny toad is only partly dishonest though. They do have horns, but they aren't a toad at all. Instead of the soft, warty, permeable skin like a typical toad has, the horny toad, nowadays often called the horned lizard, has spiky raised scales along their side and back that look a lot more fearsome than they actually are. Similar to Rosa, my bearded dragon here. Their true horns are in their dinosaur-like fringe of bony protrusions along the back of their skull and covering their neck, and also along their cheeks and over their eyes. So why toad? Well, a clue can be found in their genus name, Phrynosoma, which means toad-bodied. They are roughly the same size as an American toad, same shades of browns, beiges, grays, and black, and they share a similar broad, low, squat build. So, toad-bodied. I get it. These lizards are actually pretty tough customers though. They are pretty small. Depending on the species, they range between 2 to 6 inches long, but some have pretty impressive ways to hunt and protect themselves. You know, aside from the spikes. For starters, they are little powerhouses. Using a force meter attached to one of their horns, it was found that a Texas horned lizard can easily pull with a force of 8.5 times their body weight. That would be like me dragging, I don't know, a polar bear across my lawn. I've never tried that, but I imagine it would be pretty hard to pull off. These guys eat insects, a lot of insects. Many of them really like eating fast-moving ants, and to be able to gobble them up before they can escape, the horny toad has developed a strike speed twice as fast as that of a rattlesnake. That's crazy fast. But their most amazing ability is also their grossest. When threatened, the horny toad will break blood vessels in its eyes and then squirt it out at a high-pressure stream that can hit a target over 6 feet away. Because of the ants they eat, their blood is kind of toxic and irritating to get it in the eyes, nose, or mouth of a would-be predator, certainly giving the predator second thoughts. Did I mention it's also kind of gross? Most species don't make great pets for novice keepers, but the horny toad is an amazing lizard, even with its misleading name. Next up is the mountain chicken. While the mountain chicken does actually live in the mountains, it is not a chicken. Not even close. Instead of feathers, the mountain chicken is covered by moist skin it can breathe and drink through. Instead of a beak, it has a wide mouth to swallow prey whole, and uses its big eyes to actually help them swallow. No clucking from these chickens either. Their call is a very loud whoop-like croak. Any guesses as to what it is? Behold, the mountain chicken. It is a frog. This is not a mountain chicken. This is my toad, Midnight. Say hi, Midnight. It's the closest I've got right now. The mountain chicken is the largest frog in the Caribbean and one of the largest frogs in the world. These frogs are also known as giant ditch frogs, and sadly are critically endangered. They used to be found at higher elevations in many Caribbean islands. Sadly, now they are only found on Dominica. The mountain chicken gets its misleading name because it apparently tastes exactly like chicken. Because this, along with their huge size and their super strategic habit of sitting out in the open and croaking at the top of their lungs, made them a very easy target for hunters, and they became a staple of the diet where they are found. You know, back when they were plentiful and found almost everywhere in the Caribbean. Being routinely hunted for food by humans was the primary cause for their initial decline. Habitat loss due to agriculture and natural disasters like hurricanes and volcanoes put even more pressure on them, and they have been critically endangered for decades. To add insult to injury, the small remaining populations have now been hit by a deadly fungus, chytridiomycosis. In the early 2000s, when this fungus first arrived in the Caribbean, the mountain chicken was only found on 2 islands, Dominica and Montserrat. Now it is extinct on Montserrat, and less than 200 specimens remain on Dominica. These amphibians are in serious trouble. I know that zoos are a controversial subject for some, and I totally get why, but zoos do represent the last chance for the survival of countless species, including the mountain chicken. Over 20 European and 5 US zoos are desperately trying to establish strong captive breeding populations so that these incredible frogs can be saved and then reintroduced to the wild. There was also a local captive breeding program on Dominica, but the facility was destroyed by Hurricane Maria in 2017, and sadly all the frogs were lost, which was a huge setback in their recovery. If you'd like to learn more about the mountain chicken and how you can help, I'll put links in the description below. Next up in our panoply of weirdly named reptiles is the blindworm. The blindworm is neither blind, nor is it a worm. It has other names too: slowworm, deaf adder, and long cripple. I don't even know how to react to that last one. Okay. In any case, all of these names are equally inaccurate. Stop going into my shirt. If you were to come across one of these long squiggly fellas, you might assume it's a snake. You'd be wrong there too. The blindworm is actually a type of lizard. Legless lizard to be precise. These guys grow to be about 1.5 feet long and live all over Europe and parts of Asia. There are no snakes in Ireland, but if you're lucky, you might find a blindworm, as they were accidentally introduced to the Emerald Isle in the 70s, and a small population still remains. Blindworms, well, legless lizards I guess, are pretty cool reptiles in general. It was thought that snakes, my favorite type of reptile if you did not know that, and legless lizards were following the same evolutionary path, with snakes just figuring it out, about 100 million years sooner. The body lengthening, the legs dwindling until they were non-existent. Eventually other characteristics would evolve to best take advantage of the snake-like form. Hyperextendable jaws, skull structures, digestive systems, and so on. With the legless lizard being basically a normal lizard, just without legs. It was thought that they were like a snapshot of what snake evolution was like. Except they aren't. With recent fossil discoveries of Eophis and some other four-legged snake species that predate the previously thought earliest snakes by 70 million years, we now know that snakes evolved their flexible skull and jaws and many other snake-like traits long before they lost their legs. Completely opposite to the legless lizard. I talk about that amazing discovery and others in my video on prehistoric snakes. Link in description and up there. The blindworm is a wonderful little reptile to have around, especially if you like to grow your own food. These guys love to eat slugs, snails, and other garden pests, and many different gardeners in Europe lay down black warming mats in and around their gardens in order to attract blindworms as a natural pest control. The blindworm likely gets its name because of its semi-fossorial nature, meaning they spend a lot of time underground. Like my corn snake, Frostbite here, who we almost never see above ground. He really just loves to be underground. It's kind of funny. They aren't especially speedy, which probably explains the slow worm name that they sometimes go by, but the slow description doesn't just apply to their movement. It also applies to their lifespan. The blindworm may be the world's longest lived lizard. Try saying that 10 times fast. Lizard, world's longest lived lizard, world's longest lived wizard. You're
at 9!
Oh, okay. In the wild, they can live easily more than 30 years. The longest lived one in captivity was 54 years old. And that one was a wild-caught adult specimen. Who knows how old it was when it was first captured? Pretty cool, eh? My last misleadingly named reptile might be surprising. It's a snake. Probably the world's most iconic snake. It is highly venomous and can reach lengths of over 19 feet long. They are incredibly fast and, when threatened, can race towards you holding their head 6 feet off the ground, meaning they can look you dead in the eye before they bite into your face. They can inject venom enough in a single bite to kill 10 full-grown humans. If you are unlucky enough to get tagged, you could be dead within 30 minutes if the bite is untreated. Not only are they physically impressive, but when it comes to their brain power, these guys have no equal. At least among snakes. Hobbs, here, is by far my smartest snake that I have. And he is a drooling, half-witted clod compared to the snake I'm talking about, which are widely regarded as the world's most intelligent snake. They have an ability to learn, anticipate, and adapt that no other snake even comes close to having. In captivity, they can recognize their keeper, which other snakes don't do, allegedly. But my experience with the Hobbs made me doubt that a little bit. You know me, right, buddy? But in the wild, these snakes can recognize and remember individual humans that have attacked it in the past and will happily return the favor, waiting until their target's guard is down to sneak up and strike. They are the only snake species that builds, maintains, and defends their nest, and are just all-around incredible animals. So, who is this snake royalty that I claim has a misleading name? Asia's mighty king cobra. King in a snake's name means that it eats other snakes. In the wild, king snakes like Johanna, hi darling, like Johanna, eat other snakes larger than them and highly venomous ones too, like rattlesnakes and copperheads. Australia's king brown snake eats other snakes, and the king cobra, you guessed it, also eats other snakes. You may take her back. Goodbye, Johanna, thank you. Pythons in particular are a favorite, but they will happily eat rat snakes, vipers, even other cobras. The king part of their name is well-earned. So the misleading part of their name must be the cobra? Can it be the iconic king cobra is not actually a cobra?
No, it's not true. That's impossible.
It is possible, Luke. They are not cobras. They look a lot like cobras. They behave like other cobras, but they are not actually cobras. They do belong to the same family of snakes, elapids, which include coral snakes, sea kraits, and mambas. There are 38 species of true cobras who belong to the genus Naja. King cobra is not one of them. King cobras are the sole species in the genus Ophiophagus. Those who understand Greek and Latin might recognize that it means snake eater. Ophio from the Greek word for snake, and phagus from the Latin word to eat or to devour. Snake eating, see? So their common name implies a snake eater, and their scientific name means snake eater. They're really doubling down on the snake eating. They must really take their food seriously. I do too, don't worry. But they're probably overcompensating for fraudulently passing themselves off as cobras for all these years. So there you have it, 4 examples of cool reptiles and amphibians with unusual and misleading names. I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about some of the weird ways creatures get named. Let me know in the comments if you think there were any others that I should have included. Thanks for watching me, Johanna, Frostbite, Hobbs, Rosa Rosebud, and my toads. Please don't forget to check out my other videos and follow me on Instagram. And again, it would just mean a lot to me if you could please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And most importantly, remember to nurture all nature. Bye! See you next time! Hi friends! Welcome to the I got it, it's fine. Hi friends! That's crazy and fast. That's crazy, impressive, and fast. I just decided to put those into one word. Chunky, chunky lizard legs. Oh, and you peed again. Kleenex, please. It's dripping off your toes. She is my fork-tongued lizard witch. Now, I'm not talking...